All right, we're back with more talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers winners today, and they have a short turnaround. Carolina comes to town on Thursday night. So this was a quote given to ESPN pregame today by Mike Tomlin. "We want volunteers, not hostages." Le'Veon Bell's still not here. People still asking, but he's become less and less of an obstacle here in terms of got to get him in here, got to have him. No, you don't. James Conner has proven that he can handle the job. So what did you make of that comment, Tim?
First of all, I'd like to ask Josh if Daniel Sprong constitutes as a hostage or a volunteer. Where's he? Oh, we'll get to that for Penguins.
No
we'll
comment.
Get to that for Penguins. All right. I think I interpret that when I heard it, I interpreted it as something had happened that they have just officially moved the page and turned on, because that is the first time that we have heard from Mike Tomlin anything that resembled a "we don't need Le'Veon Bell anymore." That was the first time we've heard something that definitive from him that made it sound like this guy is no longer what we want. We have what we need. We'll sink or swim with the running back situation that we have.
Yeah, I look at it this way. It's the first time I've felt all year like the coach views Bell as an insurance policy and probably nothing more than that. I mean, I think Tomlin has always been a Le'Veon Bell guy. There have been times where Bell has deserved criticism, and Tomlin has gone out of his way to really kind of temper that and put that down. And he's been, as Tim put it, very quiet. He has said a lot of either politically correct statements about Bell or he said nothing at all. And today was the first time the coach, that mouthpiece, a guy that I thought was in Bell's corner, he's supposedly really good friends with Bell's agents. And this was, I think, as strong of a take from Tomlin on Bell as we've seen yet. So
and if I'm
it was reassuring for me.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time that Tomlin has given anything other than a no comment. And you know what? Mike Tomlin is a player's coach, and it's pretty evident how the players in that locker room feel about Lev Bell right now. They made it clear before week one, then they kind of tempered it, but I think that still remains, quite honestly. And if I'm playing for the Steelers, if I'm James Conner, if I'm anyone on that team and I hear Tomlin say that, I kind of like it. And I think the city of Pittsburgh kind of likes it because I think 90% of people feel that way now. And I think everyone probably liked hearing that. And it doesn't hurt that they're on a roll right now, of course, but I kind of like Tomlin coming out and saying that.
I would like a proof of life photo for Le'Veon Bell just in case number 30 gets hurt, though, wouldn't you? I mean, if something goes wrong with Conner, it wouldn't be bad to have Bell at the ready.
No, it would not.
I would want it that way, and I think that's how it's going to play out. And there's nothing wrong with that. People should want him back just in case. You never know.
Good third down
It's a long
back.
season. Yeah. Or a slot receiver, whatever you want. Andrew wants to line him up wide out. Why not?
Yeah.
Use him different ways. I want to ask you guys about Chris Boswell. Everyone is panicked about kickers. Kickers have missed things all over the place, and that includes Justin Tucker. I realize for the first time of his illustrious career. But Josh, are you worried that Chris Boswell is going to cost this team an opportunity? Because if you have that worry about him, you should have it about every kicker around the NFL because they all miss.
Well, they do, but he's been really bad this year, Bob. I mean, I believe he's tied for the league lead and missed extra points.
Yes, he is.
That's concerning to me. And he hasn't really had to make a clutch kick this season. I know he did it last year. I think he made, 4 game-winning kicks? That's great. He's been almost flawless in his career with the Steelers, but he has been a different guy since he signed that new contract. And I'm not suggesting that money maybe has added pressure, but maybe it has. And, yeah, I think it is a little bit of a concern, especially the missed extra points week after week. I thought maybe he was okay at the end of September. He's been a little better, but the missed extra point again today on AstroTurf, with no wind conditions to speak of, I think
the same spot every time. There's
wide right?
Yeah, he's going wide right every time. They
Mental.
illustrated that. Well, if it's mental, then I'm concerned. Like,
No, you can get it out. All you have to do is look what happens with the goaltenders. Josh will tell you, bring in a hypnotist or something. They'll get it out.
Oh, yeah, Bob. Yeah,
a little watch
simple.
in front of him, just go back and forth. All of a sudden, it's right down the middle every time. You know, like Tucker missing that extra point, Bob, that was a fluke. He had a bad day. This guy's having a bad season. So, yeah, I'm concerned. And Josh is right. Well, the one thing Josh wasn't right about, though, there was that one time he had a game-winning kick potential. He screwed it up in Cleveland. So he's had 1, and he's 0 for 1. He hasn't made 1, and that is concerning.
You know what? Jeff Reed at one time was a reliable kicker who kicked the Steelers into 2 Super Bowls. Then at like 32 years old, he lost his mind, and then he lost his kicking skill. And the Steelers had to cut bait with him midway through a season that ultimately put them in the Super Bowl. I think Sean Sweezum got discovered that way. So I'm not going to be loyal to Boswell because of what he did in the past. I'm worried about right now. And if he lined up over a 45-yard kick to win a game right now, you better believe I'm basically cutting my fingernails down to the cuticle because I feel like he's going to miss it. I've got zero faith in this guy, and Bob, for whatever reason, loves him. I don't know why.
No. There you go, stretching and stretching. And all I'm saying is this is part and parcel with being a kicker. Look at what happened for him to get here. First, it started with Sean Sweezum, who was cut by 3 different teams before he got his chance here.
Yeah.
Right? Then they bring in Josh Scobie. He can't get it done. He was going to be a sure thing.
That's right. If you can't get it done, get out.
All I'm saying to you is that if you're a kicker, you're going to miss kicks, and that's just the way it is. And I don't think you need
too many this year.
Okay, we'll find out. I still have confidence. That's all I'm saying. I'm not losing. And I don't think Mike Tomlin. Do you guys feel he's lost confidence in him? I don't.
I think it's eroding. I think he's talking himself. I bet you if he doesn't have the contract signed that he does, he'd be a lot more forthcoming about his level of confidence.
All right. Now it's time to go round the horn for this week's Smooth Moves, brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you will find. That is Armina Stone. So we ask these guys each, give me a smooth move of the week. Andrew, you're first.
I'm going to give it to the guy down in Morgantown, Dana Holgerson, for Greer to throw that bomb down in Austin to beat Texas, and then to say, hey, guys, let's go win the game, go for 2. They get it, but there's a timeout. They have to go for it again. They get it again. Good for them. I'm hoping West Virginia wins the Big 12. They should if this.
You're going to do the downwards hook 'em horns, right? Isn't that the big celebration? Isn't that what they did?
Yep.
Mine's going to be Paul Bissonnette, former Pittsburgh Penguin hockey enforcer extraordinaire. And now apparently he is taking on Jalen Ramsey as a pupil to teach him how to play hockey because Ramsey popped off the way that he did about he could just come into the NHL and skate and learn how to do it. He says he's taking it seriously. He's not. And the best guy to not take something seriously while taking something seriously is Paul Bissonnette. This is beautiful.
I agree. I'm going to go up north for mine to the Canadian Football League. I don't even know the guy's name. Did you see the celebration?
John Gott. He's my hero.
Oh, the beer
John
chugger.
Gott.
Listen,
Yes.
we live in the era of touchdown celebrations, and honestly, some of them are getting pretty lame. But if you're just going to chug a beer in front of a crowd
Is
of
that
people,
a prop?
I think it
was a prop by his girlfriend.
Now, by the end of it, it wasn't a prop because he had digested it, I suppose. But if you're going to celebrate, do it right. I loved it.
Yeah, and he got a new endorsement deal from Labatt today. Great move. And those are, no, I'm just kidding. Those are the smooth moves of the week. I don't even know if that's the official beer. I guess it is. Brought to you by Armina Stone, who features Pittsburgh's largest indoor stone gallery, granite, marble countertops, imported from all over the world to give you the smoothest countertops in your area. Score a touchdown with Armina Stone. We'll be right back.